What he's tracking in the media is that there's a preparation that's happening. And what he's feeling is like there's a preparation for disclosure, that actually things are coming out softly and in a way that's just kind of warming up the field for an imminent disclosure, like a proper full-on disclosure acknowledgement, but in a way where it's not going to be so shocking and surprising anymore because they've kind of actually warmed the field up.
Yeah, I don't think it's that deliberate. I think there's something very mysterious going on here.
Uh-huh.
Our UFOs had to be on the sidelines of reality for a long time because as a society, we had not yet come to a place where we could accept this extreme disruption of our dominant paradigms. The behavior of UFOs simply does not fit into standard physics.
Mm-hmm.
And also the loss of our idea of our own primacy. We were not ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to stay in the realm of fiction. And you can't really fully understand the UFO phenomenon if you're too attached to objective reality. The rational mind would like to think that independent of our beliefs and perceptions, there's a fact of the matter. Either that UFO landed and, abducted that person at point X, Y, Z on the map at time T, or it did not. Either there is a secret program to reverse engineer captured alien craft, in the dark ops of the Pentagon, or there isn't. But that objectivist worldview is actually nonsense in quantum mechanics,
mm-hmm.
where you say, well, regardless of our measurement of that particle, either it was or it was not at that slit rather than the other slit.
Right.
No, wrong.
Right.
Right. And philosophically, we've consigned such weirdness to the microcosm. But it at least suggests another way of looking at things, where the factualness of UFOs is connected to our own consciousness. And that as our consciousness evolves, the ETs become more and more able to penetrate into consensus reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we see this change now. The percentage of Americans who profess to believe in the extraterrestrial origin of UFOs has gone up considerably in the last 5 years. It used to be like 40%, 5 or 10 years ago. And now it's like 60% or something like that. So the field of acceptance, this is not just that more evidence has come in. This is because, and it's not because people are being, in my view, expertly manipulated by a deliberate slow leak of information.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the field of consciousness has come to a point where that information is erupting through the cracks. Like people have been whistleblowing and credible people have been speaking out about it for a long time.
Yeah.
But they weren't believed. People weren't ready to believe them, or they would believe them but compartmentalize that belief because their dominant reality was unable to accommodate that information. And we see this all the time. Like you can have a religious experience. You can experience a miracle. You can witness an incredible healing. You can witness it. You can see a UFO.
Yep.
You can hear Malidoma Some talk about initiation rituals among the Daguerre, and describe things that are so far outside of our conventional beliefs about what's possible that, it's jaw dropping, and you believe him. You don't think he's making it up.
Mm-hmm.
When he's, so you should listen to the audio book, which is him actually telling the story of Water and the Spirit, it's called. And in that moment, that he is speaking the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But So even if you haven't had the experience directly, but many of us have had experiences directly that are flagrantly in violation of everything we were told is real.
Right.
But even secondhand, what do you do with that information when you go back to work? It just doesn't fit into the structures that we live in and into the social structures, into the belief structures.
Yeah.
So we put it in the margins. Today, those structures are dissolving.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows this new information to penetrate deeper into the collective mind and deeper into our own minds. And once we accept that reality, everything changes.
Yeah. I had an interview with Dean Radin, and he's really spent his life studying the science of magic.
Yeah.
And he talked about giving a lecture to a group of physicists, and it was about magic. Now, collectively, publicly, they all are like, this is all bullshit. This isn't real. Newtonian physics all the way. There's no field. There's no, collective consciousness or some Sheldrakean morphic resonance field. It's all bullshit. But then he, privately asked them, okay, so I understand you're official, but in your own life, how many of you have experienced something that defied what this consensus reality is? People got a little shifty, and all the hands just started to quietly raise that they'd each experienced something in their life that they couldn't fucking explain.
Yeah.
But the consensus reality was something far different. And I think it speaks to this collective belief field. The only area that I would want to kind of like explore deeper is I've had experiences with alien crafts. I've had them mostly on psychedelics. I haven't seen any in my sober waking consciousness, any of those experiences. But I was recently in the Temple of Osiris, and there was a guidance from an Egyptian priestess who's saying there's a craft that's going to come, and we were in the dark of the Holy of Holies in the temple. And sure enough, this fucking craft comes in my consciousness, and I step inside and I get given this gift where I'm like able to, like, my third eye just pops open and I'm able to see realities into existence. It was a crazy experience. And so those were like this extraterrestrial kind of ET kind of phenomenon, like extra dimensional.
Yeah.
And that to me is certain. Where the question for me comes is like, all right, did something physical and has something physical been crashing and interacting in places? Or has it not been physical? Has it just been extra dimensional? And like, what are the boundary lines that blur between the physical and the extra dimensional? Because I'm 100% all in on the extra dimensional, conscious beings for sure. I've been there, seen it, done, end of story. But like, can they actually crash in the desert and make a divot? You know what I mean? Like, can they like crash in the sand and make a divot? And I think it's likely both, that there's both. But there is some kind of objective reality to the physicality of something that could crash and break apart, and you could hold pieces, and somebody in a black suit could come and say, give me that fucking piece back, or you and your family are going to be evaporated.
All right. So say for sake of argument that a craft crashed and made a divot in the desert and, scattered pieces, and someone picks them up and the men in black come and take it away.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that actually happened? Somebody told you that it happened. Somebody had an experience that they shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
That, the very fact that report came to you means that this event is intruding into what you're calling objective reality.
Right.
Just like what I was saying before, like when I speak, I'm also asking for corroboration. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it real.
Right.
So
sanity is a group project. I remember you saying that in a speech.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to talk about. I launched a online program called the Sanity Project.
Cool.
That I was maybe going to mention. I'll just detour into that. The idea being that sanity requires that you pull in all of the information, not just part of it, and integrate it all. So a lot of people fall into despair when they take in the hopelessness of our situation. And it is, in fact, hopeless if you don't incorporate what we're calling miracles.
Yeah.
There's just no way, including the miracle of the transformation of the heart.
Right.
The miracle of a change of heart. That's one of the miracles. When somebody, they're not forced to change, they sacrifice their career, they sacrifice their safety, they sacrifice their reputation out of love. That is a miracle. Because if you're in the mindset of making somebody do something, you will never make them do that. Because what does making mean? It means you're exerting some kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And you're back to Newtonian physics.
Yep.
And you're limited by the amount of force at your disposal. And the bad guys always have more because selfishness is on their side. So it takes a miracle. Could be the miracle of the heart. It could be a social miracle. It could be a material, physical miracle, a miracle of healing. That's the only hope. So when we exclude that from our picture of reality, we are actually insane.
Or very, very sad. And I've met some of those people who've run all the algorithms.
Yeah.
They figured it out. It's all doomsday. Every algorithm runs into...
Do their algorithms include extraterrestrial intervention?
Right.
Do they include...
Yeah. Or massive spiritual awakening at a level that transcends what we believe is possible.
Or shamans who can manifest seedlings in their hand.
Right.
Or all the stuff that Malidoma Somé talks about. There's so much. You've read all these books, Do their algorithms take that into account?
Nope. They can't.
They can't. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a form of insanity, and the symptom of that form of insanity is depression and despair.
Yeah.
And there are many other forms of insanity. If you keep out all of the bad stuff and only focus on the miracles, that becomes another form of insanity.
Right. Which is purely Pollyannish. God's going to take care of it all. We don't have to worry about a thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so reality is held in community. It's held through relationship. So in order to hold a bigger reality that includes the pieces that have been missing, which is for everything from ecosystem destruction to the horrors that have been perpetrated on this earth to the most sublime miracles. To hold that bigger reality, we have to have ways to look at each other and say, do you see that? Is that real? Yes. Then we hold that bigger reality together. That's what the Sanity Project is about.
Right.
And so to take it back to UFOs, you say, well, there's this secret unit inside of another slightly less secret unit inside of the Pentagon operating on Area 51. And you want to prove this. How do you do that? Well, okay, here's some whistleblower stepping forward, but his records have been erased from the military's records. How do you know that he is what he says he is? How do you ever pin it down? Ultimately, you cannot escape from the realm of communication with each other and the group holding of a belief. And when you understand that, then you can understand some of the weird behavior of extraterrestrial craft and extraterrestrial beings and missing time and the sharp right angles that they execute in the sky in complete defiance of Newtonian kinetics.
Right.
In some sense, they are not in objective reality as we know it.
Right.
And we will never accept them. They will never become real as long as we don't transcend the mythology, the Cartesian Newtonian mythology that we have inherited, the mythology of modernity, because there is no room in that reality for them. And as I said before, that reality is breaking down.
Thanks for tuning into this video. Make sure you hit subscribe, follow me at Aubrey Marcus, check out the Aubrey Marcus Podcast, available everywhere, and leave a comment. Let me know if this video resonated or what else you would like to hear from me in the future. Thank you so much.